Tuesday, January 17th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here with you. We have a cold front approaching our region today, and ahead of it some mild, breezy type of conditions, a few showers a possibility as well before it turns colder again tomorrow. I'll talk about that incoming system, a few longer range thoughts, and a huge snowstorm coming for the northwestern part of the country here as today's edition of the video unfolds. There is the radar this morning during the 5 o'clock hour. There has been some severe weather overnight through parts of Missouri and Illinois, and still some thunderstorms stretching from Indiana into southern Illinois and Missouri as we speak. In fact, still a tornado watch out for parts of Missouri into Illinois. A couple severe thunderstorm warnings in there too. Notice all the white shady counties here in the northwestern part of the country. It's going to be a tremendous winter storm gearing up over the next 72 hours. In fact, here is the RPM snow totals, and this is the forecast for the next 72 hours. I mean, these are some unbelievable totals. I know some of the state lines rather are kind of tough to see. But for instance, there is Seattle, and the RPM is forecasting 10 to 12 inches of snow in Seattle. You get into the mountains, just some unbelievable snow totals. I mean, I'm telling you, taking at face value, you're looking at 3 to 4 plus feet of snow being forecast in parts of the mountains. Just an unbelievable winter storm about to get underway in the northwestern U.S. Now, in terms of our weather here across the southeast, some milder air pushing in today. You have a cold front that's very easy to pick up looking at the temperature map right about there. Much colder air behind it, and this milder air engulfs the southeast today before it turns colder again tomorrow. Now, when you're getting the clashing of those two types of air masses, severe weather is a concern, and there's a slight risk of severe weather today, mainly focused in Mississippi and Alabama. Up in the upper levels, there's your disturbance moving through the Midwest, cruising on off further to the northeast. Now we go on out in time, and here's what it looks like by the time we get to Sunday on the European model. A little disturbance rippling through near the Gulf Coast, and there will be another system that does bring a chance of some showers around here, especially Friday night and Saturday. So here we go. GFS model today, cold front approaching, southwest winds crank ahead of the system, so we'll see some wind gusts 30, 35 miles an hour or so, higher in the mountains. And a few showers possible as we go through this afternoon, this evening, and tonight too. Now, that front quickly drops southeast of our region tomorrow, so there'll be a clearing, very quickly quickly settle in from northwest to southeast tomorrow, and it'll be much chillier, highs in the 40s. As our Wednesday unfolds by Thursday morning, we're down into the 20s for lows again, and Thursday afternoon it looks like upper 40s and lower 50s for highs across the region. Now here we go. Friday afternoon, clouds building ahead of our next system, and then by the time we get to Saturday morning, the showers have developed on into the region. And it looks like we'll be able to warm things up enough that it's going to be a liquid precip event Friday night into Saturday. Certainly later on into the day Saturday, there was some small chance that if the precip got in early enough Friday night or Saturday morning, could be something non-liquid involved, but I think that's looking a little unlikely right now, but we'll keep an eye on it. So some showers around Saturday. Sunday then looks dry, and then it gets much milder by Monday. Now the GFS is not as mild with the 0Z run as some earlier GFS runs or the European model. And really the models are quite different with the handling of a system next week. That is a severe weather setup through the Mississippi Valley and the Tennessee Valley, even the Ohio Valley next week. This is Tuesday on the GFS. That would be a pretty nasty severe weather episode, I'm afraid, if that were correct. The European, though, handles it quite differently, hangs the low back much further to the west and a much slower movement next week. Now let's talk briefly about the longer range. This is the European model on the left, the GFS on the right. As long as you see that Alaskan vortex sitting there as it is on both models, that is not a good look to get cold weather in the eastern United States. So I think certainly the pattern not cold at all for the next 2 weeks, or I should say next 10 days to 2 weeks maybe. But there are some growing signs here, and I hesitate to say it because the previous pattern change didn't really deliver overall, even though the pattern across the northern hemisphere really changed up fairly significantly. I never got any sustained cold here in the eastern U.S., but there are some signs here of the NAO wanting to try to head toward negative, toward negative rather, as we get it toward at least closer to February, and signs that the PNA will want to maybe head more toward positive at the same time frame. So if those were to occur, that would certainly indicate a colder pattern, but I'm just not sold on that just yet. We shall see. All right, that is it for today. Everybody have a great Tuesday, and God bless.